Happy Friday! How are you guys? So, today I have a secret to share with you. I have an addiction. And my addiction is to pens and writing utensils and markers and Sharpies and pencils from all over. And with this addiction, every time I travel, I obviously have an addiction to mugs a little bit too. So, got all these, right? And every time I travel, I usually will pick up some sort of writing utensil. So this is from the Standard Hotel in LA. This is from Hardcore Business, super generous, my business coaching that I work with. Let's see, there's just so many in here. Hard Rock Hotel, all kinds of cool branding. ICCU.com, Idaho Central Credit Union. I mean, obviously it shows, my different travels, but Mitchell Gold, Bob Williams, a friend of mine used to work for them. So there's all of these pens, right? And along my travels, I have really generous, amazing friends who, the first time I went to Guatemala, they said, hey, the kids need pens and utensils, so let's just go to the dollar store and get some for them. And I said, okay, cool. And, we went there and we brought them to the school and the kids were so happy. And when we came back, I started talking to teachers here in the US. And it became very, very apparent to me that our teachers here are super, super generous as well, to the point where they spend a lot of money on buying supplies for the kids. And I want to talk about that because, one of my main themes is I'm always trying to connect dots, right? I'm always trying to figure out how one thing over here can be connected to another thing and how do we merge them together in a really peaceful, awesome, supportive way. So when I started talking to these teachers, I was like, wow, they're spending all this money on supplies because, the taxes aren't enough or whatnot. So I started thinking about it. When I go to a corporate, any kind of conference, what do? I walk around and I pick up pens. It is one of my favorite games. And a couple of years ago, it dawned on me, I'm like, I don't need this many pens. And in fact, a light bulb went on in my head and I said, kids need the pens though, right? Or pencils or whatnot. And it just really got me to thinking. So I wanted to go on this kind of sneaky adventure and start picking up pens and pencils and collecting them. And I spoke to a couple of teachers and I said, if I showed up to your classroom with these writing utensils, would this be a problem? Would this make more work for you? And every teacher I've spoken to said, no, absolutely not. Please do that. So where I'm going with this, maybe you've already figured it out, is that, corporations rebrand a lot, quite often. And we have a surplus of all of these pens. I know I do. Wouldn't it be great if we could connect the dots and have different companies when they rebrand, instead of, giving them out, or maybe in addition to giving them out to potential clients, we also could be donating them to our local schools because the kids need them, quite honestly. And if your kids are in private school, that's amazing. But as far as I can tell, even here in California, in the really good schools, I'm speaking more to elementary too, by the way. These schools definitely could use support. And what a great free, quote unquote, way to be able to connect, corporations with the schools. Because I look at it as I'm always trying to think of how to brand and get your name out there even more. And, maybe this Hardcore Business pen, which is really cute, it's really awesome, it's got a stylist on the end. Maybe that ends up in the hands of someone who didn't even know this coaching business was available. So this is a business for entrepreneurs. And, it could end up in the hands and actually make someone's dream come true, right? The Standard Hotel is one of my favorite hotels. It's really fun. They give out pencils, things like that. So I always try to be mindful of picking them up and figuring out how not only can I, collect these things and then give back to our communities. So, some school districts I know are a little they have a little more. And maybe, this is an opportunity to kind of check in with your community and see what is needed at the schools. I'll bet you any teacher that you talk to will say, yeah, we would appreciate it. And if for some reason they don't, there's another teacher out there that could. So I'm just talking about this because I am always trying to connect things. I'm always trying to figure out ways to support different communities in really creative ways. So it's not always a money answer, right? It doesn't have to be. It can be simply, maybe going to your next conference that you attend and you pick up some extra pens. Or your company's rebranding. I know companies rebrand all of the time. I've been through them. They're exciting, but it's also like, oh, that's the old logo. We can't use that. Let's just give it. Sometimes the employees get it, but they've already had it a lot of times. So what do we do with it? Give it to your schools. Kids could use Post-it notes. They could use notepads just for scratching and scribbling and, all of that. So pens run out, pencils. So just something to think about. It's something I'm really passionate about. I try to talk to people about it all of the time. So that is my gift to you guys today. And if there's something that you have that you kind of talk about it and you're like, wouldn't it be great if blah, 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 start telling people about it. Even though it might sound really crazy, the more you talk about it, whatever this idea is, maybe you want to invent something or maybe you have another way to give back, just start talking about it because you'll find that people who really connect with it, and once you find that energy, it's going to become even more exciting for you. And chances are, because as humans we're already very connected, someone else might also be having that idea. And maybe it hasn't worked for them because they don't have your perspective on it. Or maybe you both will kind of bounce things off of each other. You'll be surprised. It's a fun game that I play, and quite often I find someone else who's doing something like that. So really go into the weekend with gratitude and, just think about some wild ideas. That was one of my missions for you guys this week was, to reach out to a family member and connect with them, but also start to tap into that inner liberty, that inner child inside of you. And that kid definitely had a lot of awesome, creative, cool ways to give back and also just to make the world a better place. So if you want to ping them off me, you know where to find me. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a kick-ass weekend. I will be back on Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and air hugs for now. Bye.